Obama wants you to believe Prop 50 is about saving democracy, but Arnold Schwarzenegger says it actually does the opposite. So who's right? California, the whole nation is counting on you. Such powerful opening words by Barack Obama in an ad to persuade you to vote yes on Prop 50. But what is Prop 50? And what will voting yes really do? Well, believe it or not, all we have to do is dissect the ad and its script to see what's really going on. Check it out.
California, the whole nation is counting on you. Democracy is on the ballot November 4th. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years. With Prop 50, you can stop Republicans in their tracks. Prop 50 puts our elections back on a level playing field, preserves independent redistricting over the long term, and lets the people decide. Return your ballot today. Vote yes on 50.
Sounds noble, right? Barack Obama, arguably the leader of the Democrat Party, is coming out and speaking directly to you, California. A call to action using the kind of language that gives you the warm fuzzies inside and makes you feel like you're part of something bigger, a fight for democracy itself. But don't be fooled, because this political ad is just that, advertising. Pulling together all the tricks of movie magic and the principles of marketing to make you buy what they're selling. So the question is, what are they selling? Let's look closer.
California, the whole nation is counting on you. Democracy is on the ballot November 4th. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years.
Here, when Obama says unchecked power, notice it cuts away to footage of Trump with this kind of like dark overlay of him speaking. And also moving menacingly in the dark as a shadowy figure. And then we see the National Guard, police in riot gear roaming the streets as if they're looking to terrorize peaceful communities. It's quick, but it's enough to do the trick. The shot alone is how you make law enforcement look like dictatorship. That's not random. It's called Associative Montage, a film editing technique pioneered by Soviet filmmakers like Sergei Eisenstein, who realized that if you show one image next to another, the viewer's brain will connect them emotionally. So here, unchecked power equals Trump, which equals authoritarian violence. It's cinematic propaganda, and it works because the human brain responds to emotion before logic. Then, just when your cortisol spikes and fear is running the show, cuts back to Obama with a solution.
Prop 50, you can stop Republicans in their tracks. Prop 50 puts our elections back on a level playing field, preserves independent redistricting over the long term, and lets the people decide.
You can stop the Republicans in their tracks. Notice the shots of the Capitol, the American flag, waving the symbols of democracy itself, telling you to vote yes on 50. That's a fear relief loop, a marketing tactic that pairs anxiety with safety to make you associate one action, in this case voting yes, with relief and resolution. It's the same tactic used in pharmaceutical commercials, just with politics instead of pills. But what about the claims in the ad? Are they true? The ad claims that Prop 50 will preserve independent redistricting. But here's what that means. It actually suspends California's Independent Redistricting Commission, supposedly temporary, and takes the power away from the Citizens Commission and gives it back to the politicians already in power, which is overwhelmingly Democrats. In other words, it does the opposite of what it claims to do. They call that leveling the playing field. Orwell would call that doublethink, using the language of equality to disguise consolidation of power. In his book, 1984, he said doublethink means the power of holding 2 contradictory beliefs in one's mind simultaneously and accepting both of them, such as war is peace or freedom is slavery. In other words, they're trying to convince you that giving them more power is the same as giving yourself more freedom. Now, in fairness, they are claiming the change will only be temporary. But here's what Arnold Schwarzenegger, a previous California governor, had to say about that.
I think when they say this is temporary, there is no such thing. I mean, the longest programs are government programs that are temporary. Okay, just remember that if it is a tax program or if it is the redistricting program, anything that is temporary with government is permanent. So in the year 2032, when the independent redistricting commission is supposed to come back, they're going to say, wait a minute, there's still gerrymandering going on in Texas. There's still gerrymandering going on in Ohio. There's still gerrymandering going on in Florida. We have to continue with the gerrymandering. This is what's going to happen. They will find an excuse. So therefore, I don't think it is temporary. So that's total fantasy. So the second thing is that you cannot cheat your way out of it. What they should do is, what the Democrats should do is they should outperform Trump. To me, it's all about competition creates performance. And so what they do is with the redistricting commission is that they're going to go and try to draw the district lines in such a way that they get voted in no matter if they work well or not for the American people. So the American people get cheated on this whole thing.
He's right. In government, temporary is frequently a myth. It's how every new power grab starts. But he said something else in that interview that to me is the real missing piece here.
Both of the parties, doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, get together and start figuring out what is best for the people of America. Because while they're fighting over here about anti-Prop 50 and for Prop 50 and gerrymandering and not gerrymandering and all this stuff, they're trying to put the spotlight away from the actual issues. Because the actual issues is the debt problem. We have a $37 trillion debt and no one is addressing it. We have a healthcare crisis in America. We have an immigration reform that we need in America. I mean, those are the kind of issues we have to make it more affordable. You know, all of those kind of issues, they're avoiding it in California. It's the same thing. The more they talk about Prop 50, the more they take the spotlight away, that we have more homeless in California than any other state. As a matter of fact, we have 1/4 of all the homeless in America right here with 178,000 homeless. And the number goes up and up and up. They don't want to focus on that. You see what I'm saying? They don't want to focus there about the affordability. The affordability is so bad here that people have to move out of Los Angeles. They can't afford living here anymore because it takes $3,500 to rent an apartment here. And you cannot even afford a house or anything like this. That's why we have so many homeless, because they're in the homes, they don't have the permitting process in place. So those are the kind of issues they should address, or that we have the highest energy prices in California, the highest gasoline prices in California. All of those kind of things need to be addressed. They don't want to talk about that. They want to go and focus on Prop 50. And you know, it may win Prop 50. I think the people that are falling short are the people themselves and not the politicians. The politicians are going to celebrate because they finally won something, and then they're going to go and do it in another state, and another state, and another state, and it hurts the people. I am a guy that is not on the right and not on the left when it comes to that. I'm not a political hack. I'm a person that looks at what is reality here and how do we make this country better. And this is not, through gerrymandering, is not the way we make this country better. We make it better by the parties outperforming each other. That's how we make them better.
Notice what he said there. While they have us going back and forth on Prop 50, no one's talking about California's real problems. The high energy and gas prices, affordability, the homeless crisis, crime, and so on. That's the sleight of hand. While we're all busy feeling virtuous about defending democracy and sticking it to the Republicans, the people running California are failing at the basics: housing, affordability, and infrastructure. So essentially, we're just pawns in their political chess game. But where does that leave us? Here's the reality check we all need. Both parties do this. In fact, Texas Republicans kicked this off by redrawing their maps mid-cycle. And that's what prompted California Democrats to jump on the bandwagon. Republicans sell fear just as Democrats sell fear. Both sides use the same emotional architecture, especially in political advertising, to make you surrender critical thought. Orwell wrote that political language is designed to make lies sound truthful. Now, that isn't to say that everything that comes out of a politician's mouth is a lie, but it's up to us to dig beyond an ad like this and consider what lies are being sold. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. California is already a one-party state, so what does voting yes on Prop 50 actually change? It scraps one of the last signs of independence California had and replaces it with open and blatant partisanship. In other words, it's the nail in the coffin. The maps will now be drawn behind closed doors by the same politicians who benefit from them, versus transparently as it is now under the Independent Commission. So ultimately, it means our state politicians won't have to work to win us over in the realm of ideas, reform, or change. Voting yes on Prop 50 only gives them more power to assure election wins, meanwhile further eroding our belief in a truly fair and democratic system. Until next time, stay curious and stay grounded. Thanks for watching. If you liked that video, check out this video next. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. I drop a new video every week.